anchored by Dawa Front of Nigeria. We thank Allah for everything. His favors that we know, His favors we don't know, His favors that are best not to know, and His favors we must not know, and which we can't also know. We ask Allah to accept our gratitude and increase His favors upon us. We thank Allah for the gift of faith, the gift of life, security, peace of mind, good health and happiness. All of these combined to make tonight's meeting possible and also easy. Last week, we read Surah An-Nur, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala articulates the various growths that Muslims will experience naturally as human beings, and the solution to the effective management of this growth to result into development. And it is marriage. Tonight, we want to ask a question. If marriage is the solution, why is it a problem? Why is the solution to certain problems, why has it become a problem? Marriage has become a problem to be solved. Why is it so? We are going to look at 4 possible reasons why marriage is not what Allah calls it. We are going to use Ayah 21 of Surah Rum, Surah 30, Ayah 21 as our index ayah. We are going to be brief. Let us quickly go there. Surah 30, Ayah 21. Surah Rum, Ayah 21. Allah in this ayah makes 4 statements. 2 of these statements are reinforcing each other to tell us that some of these things may not be understood in spite of our intellectual growth, but they must be accepted as ayat that must be believed basically, and then that we must work with practically. Allah says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن آياته, of His signs, أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواج. One of His signs is that He created for you from yourselves your spouse. This ayah is not new to us, but the first statement is ayah. It's an ayah. It's not something we can understand intellectually. We can understand it with respect to Adam, but we cannot understand it with respect to ourselves. But we must accept it, that it is one of the ayats of Allah that we can contemplate, that we must believe that our spouses are from us. And that is the thesis of this ayah. And that is the reason for the question. Why is it that somebody created from another becomes a problem for him or for her? Why do we separate? If you are created from one another, why do we detach? Whatever bonds us could have been the fact that one is a product of the other, one proceeds from the other. So that bond is not expected to break. But why does it break? Number 2, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that one that comes out of the other we find repose. We give repose to the other. One that produces the other will give tranquility. We find tranquility in her, so that you will find tranquility in her. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Number 3, he places love and mercy between you. Why does this love die? Why does it become stale, sour, to the extent that we say, I'm doing no more. Let us go our different ways. I'm tired. Why do we continue to manage? If not for my children, this marriage will have been over. Why do we have this situation? Where is the love? Where is the mercy? Why do we say, if not for this, I will have walked out of this marriage? And why do people say, it is better for me to walk out of this marriage than to go mad or to hurt myself or to die? Why do we have these situations in spite of this ayah? Allah, number 4, in fi dhalik al-ayat liqawmin yatafakkarun. In this are signs for those who can do tafakkur, those who can contemplate. Now we want to contemplate this evening to the best of our ability. We want to ask these questions. Why is it that in spite of all these stuff, what Allah says concerning this, why do we find the opposite? Why do marriages crash? Now, in order to understand this, we will raise 4 research questions and hypotheses. Number 1, is it mistake? Does our marriage have problem because it's a mistake? You know, you have heard people saying this marriage is a mistake. The first Islam says people marry for 4 reasons: our beauty, our wealth, our family, our religion. The narrator said, choose religion. Scholars said he didn't say that. And we say, it is not possible to just close your eyes and marry for religion. It might be a mistake. A religious person, to our own understanding, may be a wicked person. To our own understanding, if she uses hijab or niqab, she has completed her faith. And then she's superior to the one that does not use hijab, let alone niqab. Will this not be a mistake if we marry a woman just because she uses hijab? She's prominent in MSS. Even she does tahajjud. She's full of nawafil. Are these enough to marry a woman for our religion? Suppose the woman is ugly. The woman is temperamental. Suppose the woman is haughty, naughty. Suppose she's arrogant. All these are not matters to be brushed aside. And because of her religion, you go ahead and marry her. Is it a mistake? If you were marrying at the time when you had no money, and then you marry her for her religion, she was the best available religious woman at that time, you became rich. After some time, you find beautiful sisters who may be more religious than her. Would there not be crisis? Or you become somebody in life. You may not have money, you have status, you have value. And then many women want to marry you, and these women are better than your wife, whom you marry for her religion, and they have what she has, and they have what she doesn't have. Will you still have peace in that marriage? These are examples of mistake. When you marry without regard to social status, you are marrying somebody lower than you in social status. Even as a man, you're marrying somebody that is extremely lower than you. She will square up with you. You will not forget where she was coming from. You are not likely to respect her. You are likely to remind her that you picked her from gutters. This not as bad as a noble birth, a woman of noble birth marrying a man of lower social standing. I've said this before, I want to repeat it. Let nobody come and tell me that, but Khadija married Muhammad. Yes, Khadija married Muhammad. Muhammad did not marry Khadija, but Khadija only had money, which Muhammad did not have. Muhammad had nobility, which Khadija did not have. And the family of Muhammad paid what is equivalent to their social status in Makkah as dowry for Khadija. So Khadija gained. It was indeed a social condescending for a 25-year-old nobleman to marry a 40-year-old twice divorced but rich woman. He did not gain. He condescended, but that is not a mistake. What Khadija did not have, she made up with her wealth. The wealth that Muhammad did not have, he made up with his status, social status. Again, we are not looking at this marriage from religious point of view. It is only from historical point of view, because Muhammad was Muhammad. He was not Prophet Muhammad. So it cannot be used as an example in Islam, because there was no revelation. It is not like the marriage of the Prophet ﷺ to Aisha, to Hafsa, to Zainab. That of Zainab is in the Quran. And we take it from there. Are we going to say that the Prophet made a mistake by marrying Zainab of noble birth to Zayd of lower social standing? Zayd was a slave, and the Prophet adopted him as a son. The society did not forget that he was a slave. Yet the Prophet married his cousin Zainab bint Jahsh of noble birth to a former slave. The marriage crashed. Allah married Zainab to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to stop a social practice, to stop adoption, to stop the trauma that Zainab will pass through, we live with forever. Allah raised Zainab in social status. She became one of the Ummahatul Mu'minin. So Allah solved that problem. When we make these kind of mistakes, when we were in school, and now we still hear such stuff. Somebody who is a nobody socially and economically, who raise himself up in religious knowledge, in eloquence, and become a popular ustaz. And he wants to marry a rich girl, a sister from a rich home. He will mesmerize the sister, blackmail her, candle her head, and make her feel that he is the best person in the world. After some time, the marriage will have problem. We have seen situations where marriages like this keep crashing. 3 crashed in the last few weeks in the southwest there. They are still crashing in the north. Okay, number 2. Is it out of ignorance? Is it ignorance that makes somebody marry without knowing the requirement of marriage? It is ignorance to think that marriage is half of deen. Ignorance of the second ayah that we read last week, that those who are not capable of managing a wife should keep themselves chaste and be patient until Allah enriches them out of his bounty. Is it not ignorance to expect that when you marry, you'll be rich? Like somebody who is poor, he married, poverty became complicated, he married second. Poverty became complicated, he married third. When you ask him, he said the Prophet made somebody do so. And when his poverty became complicated after the first marriage, the Prophet asked him to marry second. When the poverty became more serious, he asked him to marry third. And after the third wife, he became rich. Is this hadith? It is not. This is targhib, and it is khas. It is not am. So to quote this, to marry because you want to get out of poverty when you are not supposed to marry in the first place is marriage of ignorance. Yeah. Are we suffering in our marriages? Do we have crisis in our marriages because we married out of ignorance? Marriage is half of deen, and you want to quickly score 50%. You have no job. You have 3 clothes. And you quickly went and borrowed money. You did in the car. You don't want crowd. And when the responsibilities stare at you, you start fighting. You start accusing the woman of kufr. The woman now doesn't have faith. If she has faith, she will be patient. She will not ask for anything. She will not ask for her right. It is kufru in her head. It is school that she went that destroyed her head. In some places now, it is dawah front that she attends that damages her head. May Allah save us. May Allah forgive people. They don't want women to come to dawah front because they will ask for their rights. It is painful when I heard, but then it's a fact. But the same dawah front, when their marriages crash, they come here. They want to have husbands because they think we take care of our wives better than other organizations. May Allah forgive everybody. May Allah give us the understanding. Number 3, is it deceit? People still rent parents. They rent relatives. They still deceive people by marrying into, I don't know whether it is happening in the Southwest. People marry into their friend's apartment. Their friends will vacate the house for them. They will use the house to show the parents. They will bring the wife to that house. The wife will spend some time in that house, hoping that they will make it in future. By the time they get enough money to rent their own house, life will be very difficult for them. When you deceive each other, the woman is not a religious person. She has committed abortion. She has all sorts of spiritual problems. She packaged herself. She married the man. After marriage, the man discovers. The man deceived the woman. He is a persona non grata, but he's a preacher. The woman is deceived, and the woman marries him and discovers that he's a criminal. We have many cases in Abuja like that. He has no job, but he's wearing good clothes and he has a car, but he has no job. He married a woman, and when the woman got to know that this is a scam, the man is a scam, the marriage could not last. Is it because we deceive ourselves? Number 3, Is it because we deceived ourselves before marriage, and we were able to manage the shockers, and then the marriage crashes? We are going to sort out a case like that, inshallah, tomorrow. The woman deceived the man. She's a divorcee, and she packaged herself for another divorcee. And then when she showed her true color, the man could not stay. The man had to run away from the house. And she was blackmailing the man. So is it deceit? Is it packaging that was exposed that is causing this crisis? Number 4, is it shaitan? Is it shaitan? No, we start from shaitan. Shaitan turned out Adam and Hawa. Shaitan knows that when there is peace in your marriage, there is no limit to your progress. If you're not angry with your wife, you will concentrate in your prayer. Some people, while they're praying and they have quarrel with their wives, even during prayer, they will be thinking of how to explain themselves, how to turn the case against the wife, how to, when they want to discuss this matter, how they will talk in such a way that the wife will have no choice but to apologize for an offense that she did not commit. These are situations we find ourselves. Shaitan. Shaitan will suddenly turn a submissive wife to an inquisitive wife, arrogant wife, stubborn wife. Shaitan will suddenly turn a loving husband into a leper. The wife will not see anything in him. Shaitan. Sometimes this shaitan comes in when there is divorce. A man marries a woman, he divorces her, the woman goes to fire the marriage. So the marriage will scatter. We have handled several cases like that. In most cases, the first wife is a victim. When the man discovers that the second wife, who is also a divorcee, and this one is a preacher, when he discovered that the second wife is a devil, he divorced her. And this second wife, a Fulani woman, carried a kaya matter and fired the Ibira man. The wife is also Ibira. He divorced the woman with her 4 children. And then he had to take the second wife back. Allahu Akbar. There's another case where the man ran into trouble when he married second wife. He divorced the 2 of them because they were going to kill him. After divorcing the 2 of them, the senior wife went away. Up to now, she has not remarried. The junior wife fired the husband. He had to take her back. He married the 3rd wife. The 3rd wife fired the second wife and became the only wife. And the crisis continued. You know, when you divorce and you don't know the capacity of the woman you are divorcing, you are taking a risk. It is not every divorced woman that will take it kindly. She will fire you. The quarrel that you never had before, you will experience a full-scale quarrel. Can we say that it is Shaitan who turned Adam and Hawa out of paradise that also introduced crisis into the household of our father Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam? They had peace. He and Sarah had peace until he married Hajara, courtesy the first wife. When Hajara became pregnant, had a child. The crisis reached a point where Ibrahim had to take Hajara out of Palestine to Mecca. However, what is wonderful is that it is not that there will be crisis. It is that the crisis should become honor, source of happiness for the couple and also for humanity. Zainab became one of the wives of the Prophet as a result of the crisis in her marriage. Our mother, Hajara, became the founder of Mecca, the initiator of Zamzam, the mother of Ismail, who joined his father to reconstruct the Kaaba, the reason for Hajj and Eid al-Adha, the model for women plaiting their hair, the model for women putting earrings. All these were done to Hajara to spite her. All this made Hajara more beautiful. Women from that moment started plaiting their hair, beautifying themselves with earrings, and so on. Crisis resulted into something beneficial. Yeah, it means that there is no way a marriage will not have crisis, but what do you gain from it? What do you gain from your own marriage, your crisis, your divorce? Is it Shaitan that does not make us gain anything? There must be crisis. When you have crisis, does it get you closer to each other? Does your spiritual development, your tahajjud, your fasting, your askar, these are the three things I know. Do these three things make you realize that, am I not wrong? Why am I like this? If, for example, you have always had peace and you suddenly began to look at your spouse in another light, and there is a third party, why don't you calm down and think that whatever your spouse has always been, which you just know, you have had peace. You have had peace. Why don't we behave like our predecessors? All right? The crisis in the family of Umar ibn Khattab led to the fact that if we can't get house help for our wives, we cannot get foster mother who breastfeed our children. We should pay our wives. If you don't have money, we should be patient and be appreciative. If the man that came to seek permission to beat his wife had not listened to Umar's wife abusing him, the Muslim will not know that these things, washing, cooking, breastfeeding, are not compulsory obligation of women in a marriage. And where the man is not capable, he should appreciate. And it should not be that this is what I want, and you must obey. A man that behaves like this is looking for trouble. The woman will obey, but there will be peace of the graveyard, or peace of the mortuary, or peace of operating theater. May Allah save our marriages. Number 3, is it a mistake that two prophets of Allah, Nuh and Lut, married Kufar? Both are Tat Abdain min ibadina Salahain. فخانتاهما ولم يغن عنهما من الله شيئا وقيل ادخلا النار مع الداخلين. The two unbelievers were under two of our servants that were righteous. They betrayed them. They did not benefit anything from being wives of prophets, and they were told to enter hell. Is it a mistake? So you may not grow together. How do you explain the prophet of Allah marrying an unbeliever? Lastly, how do you explain a believer marrying the enemy of Allah? ضرب الله مثلا للذين آمنوا امرأة فرعون. The wife of Fir'aun is an example for the believers. Yeah, She believed in Musa and she was crucified. She is a believer who was promised Al-Jannah. But Fir'aun has been promised hell, and he will enter the hell from this world. How do we explain all this? The summary is this. Whatever you think is the cause of your crisis, whether it's a mistake, whether it's deceit, whether it's out of ignorance, whether it is shaitan is constant. But your crisis must be productive. You must learn something out of your crisis. Your crisis must improve you, must make you know more, must bring change in your life. This is the summary. Why do we have situations other than this? I will now hear yours. The person I've been waiting for is not here yet. Brother Abdulhakim, okay, he's now here. It's my daughter's phone she's using. You can see that kind of person. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Yeah, the host. No host, everybody. I'm the host now, so I'm waiting for your digital hands to call you to enrich the discussion tonight. What are the causes of crisis that make marriage not to be a source of tranquility, love, and mercy, but a problem to be solved? I do that every day. Why do we have this situation? Nobody is talking. I will go and sleep. Oh. If you are not talking, I will go and sleep. Oh.
Please, the question again.
Marriage, according to Allah, that the wife is created from the husband to have tranquility, to have peace, and Allah between you. These are signs for those who reflect. Why is it that instead of our marriages producing tranquility, peace, love, and mercy, why is it that most marriages are problems to be solved? Is it because we married out of ignorance? We deceived ourselves while marrying? We just discover that somebody has been deceiving the other? Or is it because we made a mistake? We married out of ignorance? We deceive ourselves? Or is it shaitan? Adeswami first before Professor.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam.
Esse baba, não há dia que fún wa, não malo emi. Kasa kuna kai la. My own question is that there are out of crisis in a marriage, especially when the man wanted to marry a second wife. Though the first wife was aware that her husband wanted to marry second wife, but along the line, the wife was started bring crisis to the daughter family, and at the present now, because the husband has married second wife, but yet the crisis has been going and every day. So what the husband should do, because he has been patient several times begging the wife, but yet the first wife has just been giving him the announcing headache. That's my question, sir.
I cannot answer that question because I don't know them. I don't know why he married second wife. I don't know how he married second wife. I don't know how he treated the first wife. I don't have information. I cannot answer. If I have a case I will see the two people. I don't do online counseling. I only do online counseling when I know them. I have seen them. I know them very well. But this situation, I don't know the people you are talking about. And I will need to sit the two of them down, ask them very many questions that I cannot ask, because it is they that will determine the question I will ask them. So I cannot just jump into a matter that does not concern me. Anybody that marries second wife must have a reason. It is not a crime. It is not a sin. The woman that is protesting must have a reason. She's not an unbeliever. So she's not a criminal either. So I cannot condemn anybody for doing something that is not a sin nor a crime. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Now, the only thing I see in that man is that the first wife was heavy. That's nothing much. But the person
My brother, don't prolong this matter. Let these people see me. The two of them, the first wife and the husband. I have no business with the second wife. The first wife and the husband, I must see them. I must talk to them, not on this platform. We don't do counseling here. We do guidance. Counseling is one-on-one and personal. Professor Shitu. Yeah.
I think one of the problem in this kind of marriages is we tend to read more of an ideal husband that the Quran describe how people will living in paradise, and the kind of wife that we
can't hear you again.
So can you write his question?
We forget that as at that time we will have transformed from a normal human being to another thing. All the normal we forgot that when we get to paradise, our life.
Prof, we can't hear you. Can you write it down? Can you write your concern? We cannot hear you.
There's more hands on, sir.
Yeah, can we take Grammar Global Surura?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Abẹ́ Ọlọ́run ọba kó túbọ̀ lékún ìmọ́nì yín kó dẹ̀ san yín lẹ́san dáadáa tó pọ̀. My own question, that question and the confusion is you have related certain things. And I want to ask, are there ways of preventing or ways of curing? What do I mean? You said that when you want to divorce a woman, you don't know the power she has. So when you divorce, if you divorce somebody that is powerful, then that person will fire. Now, is there a way of identifying the woman that can fire? That's number one. Number two is that, okay, in the case of the person that is it goes in two ways. Some are those that when they divorce them, they have power to fight back and they come back. Some are victims of somebody that has power that will now make the one that is powerless to be divorced. Are there ways that this can be prevented? It has happened to our own generation, but for our children, are there ways of identifying that, oh, our mobile, like you have mentioned Ibira now, it is noted, well noted, at least no go area. But at the same time, there are some other people that could be that powerful, even more powerful. Are there ways that we can identify so that we say, oh, please, oh, mind where you go. Don't try it. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yeah, it's a valid question. Interestingly, like the first question, there are ways of identifying people, but we cannot just say if a woman looks like this, if a woman does this, she's this. We can't just say that. Because sometimes there are about 7 powers that women possess. And the manifestation of these powers overlap. So you cannot say that if you see this sign in a woman, it means this. There are women, we have discussed this before. There are women in the Southwest that that will probably have been born by witches. And so if they are born witches, there is no way you can take the power away from them because it is not demonic possession. It is not an acquired power. It is a natural power born with, people from certain parts of Ekiti, Ondo, Ekiti, Ondo, and they are very close. Ijesha, a few in Ogun. All the 3 parts of Ogun, we have them. There is nowhere in the world where there are no witches. But where witches are a little more concentrated, sometimes a witch grows to give birth to a witch and then follows her daughter to her husband's place. If she does not activate the witchcraft in her daughter, the daughter will suffer. If the daughter manifests witchcraft or the mother manifests witchcraft and the husband gets to know, and this thing is mismanaged, there will be crisis. So we have this situation, natural witches. They are difficult to deal with. You cannot stop them. You cannot fight them. You cannot pray to remove it because they did not pray to acquire it. Then there are witchcraft that are acquired when they join cults. Well, that one is simpler. It just needs a stronger person. But that one will be operating within rules. And it takes a very deep person to know that, okay, then there are the ones we call emere, omelere. These ones, they are jinns in human form. Anybody that wants to go by force solve their problems, which they must create, will have to go unconventional, and kufru and shirk will come in. Except if we peacefully and lovingly separate them. Number 4, we have people that are just being used. They have demons inside them. The demons are sent to them by some people. And then sometimes when a father uses his daughter, the daughter becomes a terrible thing. A lot of things may happen in our marriage. Sometimes when a man is dedicated to an idol and he doesn't know, even if he's a sheikh, he will be behaving like a jinn, and there will be crisis in his marriage. Number 5, affliction. If it is just affliction, so he will be behaving, he or she will be behaving as if he or she has power, and you have to solve the affliction. And the strangest thing about this kind of problem is that you have to love the person, and the spouse must love the person. Otherwise, we won't solve the problem, because afflictions are not really solvable, because you don't know who is afflicting who, especially if the person is successful. Everybody that envies him, we afflict him or her. If people envy him, they will be afflicting him. Envy is an affliction. Many of us suffer from it. Number 6 is just mistake. Somebody just mistakenly offends, and the person is being fired. So if the person is being fired, that will be very difficult to solve, except we beg the person that is firing him. But we have to ask the person what the offense is. So the Satan uses people, to offend people and to create crisis in their marriage. Finally, is the one that is the most difficult: affliction from the family. Affliction from the family. If the family, for example, somebody is the most successful and is not firstborn, is not secondborn, there may be somebody who will be afflicting the person. The person may even be wife to one of the siblings, or a female sibling that is wife to another person outside. When a member of the family afflicts another member, nobody will understand what's going on. Whatever prayer you are doing, it will be thrown away. So what we do is that we take individuals, we ask questions, we trace the family, we try to understand the family, we eliminate every social cause, and then we face Shaitan. We face Shaitan, because everything I've said, the 7 powers which they attribute to people, like these 3 afflictions. Ignorant people, we attribute affliction, we describe affliction as power that the woman possesses. But it is just affliction. She doesn't have any power. Somebody is just afflicting her. They hardly afflict men, but where they afflict men, they don't make them have peace in their marriages. And they push them to marry 2, 3, and then each time they marry, they fail. And then they will not understand. There's no way somebody that is failing due to affliction, there's no way he can understand. He will think he's enjoying life. Wallahu alam. Blakim.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for the presentation as you have done so far. But let me go back to the question you have asked tonight. All those things you have mentioned, deceit, shaitan, and all those rest. And you are asking that which one is the cause of these mega divorces we are seeing in our society now. In my own attempt to answer the question, first, I will say we are all responsible. We are all the cause. because there is no way we can separate ourselves from the environment, because we are the environment where we find ourselves, and our environment is we. Because the two is just interwoven to the extent that we find it difficult to say we are separating. And Allah recognize this. Hello, sir. Okay, and Allah recognize this. Allah recognized this in the Quran by referring to it. I've forgotten the surah now where the Allah, okay, I think Surah Al-Balad. Yes. Now, and this thing, I can only trace it back to 4 things. I could see these 4 things in everything you have said. 1, security. In whatever endeavor we involve in, we want security. We want to possess that thing. We want to have it, and we don't want it to be taken away from us. It may be personality that we want to secure, or it may be physical property that we want to secure in terms of oko mini or yawo mini, ki obere misbehave. You will protect it, or integrity. We are almost nimi, so le wa re mi le. So ko fe protect gbogbo kini by all means. And kini target wa la iti to je lekeji o ni pleasure. Everything is either to get pleasure or to avoid sorrow or pain. Is always punishment or reward. So in order to get pleasure most time, which is what we always fight or struggle to get in everything, then at times it ends in sorrow or pain. So in order to avoid pain at times, we always get involved in this thing, because the about being to divorce now, as we which is pleasure. Pain long padari. Immediately, in order to get but because of the target of the pleasure, I pay other bubuero. And bubokini wadale pay the emotional aspect of it, which is fear. Fear of I'm going to lose my security. Only the security share gone marriage me down. Or security pay ki mo fe fi nkan ti mo fi feed won lele to ba bo lowo mi o ti jabo. So fear yen ló máa jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ṣe ohun tá à ń ṣe. But tá bá lè understand nǹkan mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin nínú any activity tá bá ń ṣe, is it for pleasure? Is it to avoid pain? Is it I'm using it just to protect my integrity? What is my fear in this thing? If I'm not afraid, there is this slogan, if I'm not afraid, what will I have done? Tí gbogbo wa bá lè máa bèèrè wa pé okay mo fẹ́ léyàn jáde àbí mo fẹ́ báyàn jà. There is a fear somewhere. There is something you are protecting, which if you don't sit down, you may not even know what is she talk to more. So I won't call anymore. These are the things I think we can look at in everything we are doing, so that way, because from all you have said, there is no method, there is no clear-cut way of saying this thing. Let me round up by saying, but in Kotomam, at times, only iṣẹ́ tí mo rò pé jẹ́ kẹ́sìn ṣe lára wa. Because mo máa ń fẹ̀sìn wé bí ẹni wọ university as an ignorant person. Wọ́n expect pé tá bá máa ṣe tán ní university, tá bá ti wà ní university o, a gbọ́dọ̀ change in character, a gbọ́dọ̀ improve, a gbọ́dọ̀ grow in knowledge, a gbọ́dọ̀ grow in every aspect towards good things. But tá bá sọ pé èèyàn wọ university ó wá jáde, ignorance yẹn ìgbà tó wà ń bẹ̀ gan hùwà bí ẹni tí ò tẹ̀ lọ léèwé rárá, ó tún ṣe tán léèwé náà àárí àpẹẹrẹ léèwé yẹn lára ẹ̀, ó máa ń báyàn ló jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ̀sìn ṣe fẹ́ rí lójú mi nísìn pé tá bá pera wa lẹ́lẹ́sìn tó jẹ́ kẹ́sìn wa change wa kó wa modify wa, bó tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ajó ní ìbínú tẹ́lẹ̀ bí Umar kó wá ṣèwárọ̀ bí Umar náà ṣe rọ̀, bó tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé a ní sùúrù tán lè bomi sí wa lẹ́nu kan bá ń bẹ̀ bí Abubakar ká Abubakar wá dẹni tó máa sọ fún wọn pé ẹni tí ò bá gbà pé ànábì ti kú kó mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ń sin Muhammed kó mọ̀ pé Muhammed ti kú o kó lè bold láti lè bá àwọn èèyàn sọ̀rọ̀. So tá a bá lè rí irú changes yìí náà wọ́n lè fi ni mo fi rò pé wọ́n fi wà successful tá a lè máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ wọn lénìí. But àwárí akọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀sìn yẹn kò ẹ̀sìn òwò wa kò sí yàtọ̀ láàrin wa àtẹni tó mọ̀ àtẹni tí ò mọ̀ láàrin wa kò sí yàtọ̀. So àwọn nǹkan tí mo rò pé ó máa ń fọ́ èmi lórí rẹ̀ pé kí ló fà á tẹ́sìn yóò wà ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́ tó jẹ́ kó ṣe táwa ní gbogbo àná divorce bí àwọn kèfèrí àbẹni tó ń ṣe mùsùlùmí ṣe ń divorce táwa là ń ṣe mistake in marriage táwa ní èṣù ló sún wa débẹ̀ táwa ní ṣàìtàn ni. So àwọn nǹkan tí mo rò pé tá a bá lè wà conscious of all these things tá a ṣọ́ kí là ń protect pẹ̀lú wà tá à ń wù pleasure wo là ń lé pẹ̀lú wà tá à ń wù pain wo la fẹ́ avoid pẹ̀lú wà tá à ń wù kí ni fear wa pẹ̀lú wà tá à ń wù. Mo rò pé ó ṣeéṣe fún wa kárí ilé aláyọ̀ ká recreate. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam. Thank you very much for that insight. Although we still have two hands. I believe that every response is personal. Reason is, if you look at this pleasure, security, fear, you will see that there are circumstances where none of this will apply. Why does somebody want to marry second wife? What is this securing? Now,
it may be fear.
Marry second wife for pleasure.
Yes.
And then he doesn't get the pleasure. What is the fear to make somebody marry second wife? Which fear? When you ask people individually, they tell you things that will scatter your head. You say, so very funny reason, very, very funny reason that do not go into any of these things except to blame Shaitan. We always blame Shaitan for it. Somebody has intimidated me with, in fact, blamed me for his own side because he was into that marriage because he felt that it was part of the religion to do so. And he felt that I, in particular, supported that marriage. When the marriage was going to crash, and I said, why did you marry this woman in the first place? He said, is it not you people that made me marry her? That nobody would get to marry some movie session. So it was not doing it for pleasure. What I put as Shira Mustafa. So we have found so many situations. The question must be personal. That is why I said you cannot make general statements. I'm still asking the question: is it mistake? Is a common excuse? Is it deceit? Is a common excuse that she deceived me, I deceived her. I mean, a Muslim sister had a baby, the husband didn't know until the baby was ready for marriage. And she had to stand as the mother of the bride. That marriage crashed. Because everybody was surprised that he did not know that his wife was the mother of the bride. The marriage crashed several years ago when the husband discovered that the girl she called her sister was actually her daughter. And this woman was one of the first women to wear hijab. So this may be due to, I don't want fear, like you said, I don't want to lose this man. And so on. But we just must accept that crises are realities. Our predecessors also divorced. I mean, Yes, divorce is prevalent, but the way the prophet explained divorce, it is an act of shaitan. Any crisis that leads to divorce is from shaitan. Shaitan will call his soldiers and children every day and ask them what atrocities they committed. If nobody said he separated a man from the wife, he will say nobody did anything. But if anybody says he separated a man from his wife, he will give him a crown. So we have to blame divorce on shaitan. When you pronounce divorce, the throne of Allah shakes. But then, I agree with you. We are expecting angels from believers, but we are failing because we are not angels. One thing you didn't say, which I'm saying without any apology, is that we religious leaders, we teachers of the deen are guilty. We are responsible for most of this crisis because we are behaving like the Christians. We are not talking straight to our faces. We are talking into the air. We are creating El Dorado where hell exists. We're not teaching people the Quran. If there will be divorce, is it according to the Quran? How many Muslims divorce according to the Quran? Then if the people that are divorcing are our sponsors, they belong to the same social class as we are, we won't have God to talk to them because most religious leaders are lower in status than most people they are preaching to. So when they offend, they don't have the God and the courage to correct them. Call on to our olórí say, àwa gógó ní à ń da ilé rú, àwa gógó là ń da ilé rú. Ẹ̀sìn tá a bá kọ́yàn kò lè mọ̀, kò dẹ̀ lè ṣe. I'm like him, you will wait for long before you see the impact of the deen on the people. Go to many organizations. How many organizations teach people the Quran? Nobody teaches people the Quran. So how can you have peace? I was met a couple in divorce, because they don't want to read the Quran. May Allah save us. Finally, Samsung. Can I hand over to the national coordinator if Samsung is not forthcoming? National coordinator, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you for the lecture, sir. May Allah preserve you upon righteousness. During your lecture, you talk about these people firing, maybe the junior wife will fire the senior wife, or the senior wife will fire the younger one. In such a situation, is there no way that the person that being fired at can protect herself? Is there nothing that he can do? But there's something that is just beyond. Mostly, it's the younger wife that always coming in to fire the senior wife. All those things like that. Is there anything anybody can do in such a situation? Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. Yes. Again, it has to be individual. We have to know the person that is firing and the person that is being fired. Solutions are not the same. There is no one size fits all. Vulnerability what? For example, obìnrin tó múra kókókókókó tí ò ní wait tó dẹ̀ ní ó ní fẹ́ ó ní ṣe mi ò ní gbà kò lè work. Sùúrù ni, because you don't know a first wife, for example, tó fẹ́ jà kò mọ ẹni tó ń bọ̀ wá tó ń gbé bọ̀ wá fẹ́ kò mọ bó ṣe lágbára tó. First wife tí ò bá fẹ́ wá lákọ́kọ́ ní sùúrù á ṣe bí ọ̀dẹ̀. Àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tíyàwó ń gbé bọ̀. Á dẹ̀ múra sí àsìkò rẹ̀. Tilawatul Quran àti Tajud. Tó bá lè gbààwẹ̀, a máa gbààwẹ̀. Ló bá tán, a kọ́kọ́ protect ara ẹni. Mo tún wáyé pé ìgbóná ara ló fi kojú ọ̀tá. Ó máa fúyẹ́ o. Ó máa fúyẹ́. What I'm saying I know is difficult. Wípé ẹni tó fẹ́yàwó lé unreasonably tí ò rí reason kan fún láti fẹ́yàwó yẹn, ó máa jà ní. But ìjà kọ́ ni first thing. And this is where I want to go back to my submission. Àwa olórí ẹ̀sìn yìí ni ẹ̀dá burúkú. Tó bá ní kí olórí ẹ̀sìn wá dá sí ìjà, ó máa escalate ẹni. Because kò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ní làákàyè. So we have to concentrate on these family matters in our Muslim organization. Otherwise, we may be joking. We may be joking. We have to fortify ourselves. The hallmark of protection is sabr. You are not patient. Oh my God. You cannot get to the root of your problem. Everybody must just be patient. And patience is faith. And faith is trusting Allah. Like I use in my status today. Trusting Allah, even if you don't know his plans. Just trust him. Just trust me, okay, whatever the reason is. Kò bá jẹ́ polygamy ni o, kò bá jẹ́ intransigence ni o. Men go mad once in a while. I am one of them. No man can say he has never gone mad before. Tó máa bínú unreasonably, nǹkan tí ò ní lárí, ọkùnrin kan máa ya wèrè, ó máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Almost every man. There are extremely good men. They should not use their character to judge others. There are extremely good men who never fought their wives before, and women never fight their wives. But an average man, you're Yahweh. So you cannot say, ọkùnrin tó Yahweh lẹ́kọ̀ọ̀kan pé kò ní gbàgbọ́ àbí kíní kan èṣù ló ń dà láàmú. No. An average man is polygamous in nature. Níjọ́ tó bá gbé polygamy èdè má sọ wípé èṣù kọ́ ó ti wà lára ẹ̀ náà ni. But how are we handling these matters? Àwọn olórí ẹ̀sìn gan la ṣọmọlúàbí, Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wọn. National coordinator, sir.
We thank Allah Azza wa Jalla for another opportunity to learn something tonight. And we pray Almighty Allah to continue to preserve our Imam of goodness. We thank everybody that has spent their resources to join us and add to our body of knowledge, both spoken and unspoken words. We appreciate your presence. We pray Almighty Allah to make this program beneficial to us in this world and the hereafter. We've learned one thing or the other. I've learned some lessons today. How are we going to apply it in our life? Number one. Then how do we want to advocate it? Do take it as dawah, especially our members who are dawah front. How do you want to live as dawah to people and make people to learn some of these things? If you get to your working place tomorrow, you get to your businesses, you get to your home, you get to your friend, and you say one or two things that you've learned tonight, I think the world will be a better place for all of us to live. I pray Allah to bless all of us. I said it as a kabibara for us. Jazakumullah khairan till next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to answer two questions. My sister said the best thing for wives not to be kept under the same roof so that there will be mutual respect. In addition, some people avoid religious leaders or don't follow their advice. Yes, that's true. That is also true. The best in many circumstances is to keep them apart. But in some cases, that is the cause of the problem. Because in some cases, Some women are best when they see their enemies, and nobody will suspect what the other is doing. There will be no spying if they are under the same roof. Some people even believe that that's the sunnah, because the Prophet did not marry any woman outside his home. And as for the Tariqa, thinking that somebody can be credited for the spiritual exercise of another, no, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that the witches intercept prayers. They intercept prayers of those who are vulnerable, and whose prayer can be intercepted. The terminology they use is Amasaduaije. If the person that is praying is also not of good standing, then you want to discuss finances in polygamy, okay? Joint account with multiple wives, no, there is nothing like that. We will discuss, part 3 will be a little more comprehensive. We will look at the ayah 36 of Surah An-Nisa next week, inshallah ta'ala. What role does finance play in marital crisis? ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا واسرافنا في الدنيا والآخرة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب. سبحان ربك. الحمد لله رب العالمين.